again, and that whole thing goes on. And then they go through this soaring rhetoric about everything that they've accomplished, during their presidency. And then they employ more grandiose statements about stuff they're going to do in the future if only Congress will pass their proposals. Again, State of the Union required by the Constitution, not required to
Right.
be delivered in person nor on
Right.
television. I just find the thing kind of a circus.
Yeah, and it's not like I mean, it's an hour long of that. I mean, if it were President Scott Walker, I'm not sure I would watch him even say that because, like, oh my goodness, really?
Well, it's always just a campaign speech anyway.
Right. Although I did find, did you see? Oh gosh, where is the thing here? I'm not sure if I put it in the private thing to you. Um, the list of words that have been used in State of the Union speeches over the years.
Mm-mm. I did
Did you
not see.
see this?
I did
Okay.
not see.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find this and I'll put it up. Oh, I wonder if they took it down. Oh, that's interesting. Because, like for example, I'm gonna cut this video of the what I wish the president would say, right?
Hmm.
Um, well, like for the example, the word Constitution doesn't appear anywhere, and not at all. It's not in this speech anywhere.
Wow.
Um, but the number of times the word God is used now, or one very interesting word is the word we. It goes back for the last 50 or 60 years to talk about when things have been used or not, or this or that.
Hmm.
But the word we really wasn't ever used up until Woodrow Wilson.
Hmm.
Then all of a sudden the word we becomes a huge, big State of the Union thing. It's all we and us and together and our children. And in fact, that was the tweet that David Berge said. Unless you're my wife, there is no, quote, our children, end quote. Which is because it's perfect. I mean, it's absolutely right, man.
Hmm.
There is no our children. I mean, it's a rhetorical device, uh, but there is no our children. I mean, he's not involved. Well, he's trying to be, but he's not. We're not raising children together. Let's put it that way.
Well, obviously, Melissa Harris Perry disagrees with that because your children do not belong to you; they belong to the community as a whole. So, yeah, interesting stuff, though, isn't it? When you look back at the history of stuff like this, but even something as innocuous as we. I mean, what did they say before? You know, when there was a collective thing. I guess there wasn't.
There really wasn't. Yeah. In fact, I have to find. You know how sometimes the IJ review page it will certain articles that were there don't show up in your feed anymore.
I am not aware of that.
Oh yeah,
Oh
because I
no, and
saw
what feed are you talking about?
in the most recent.
Oh, no, no, I have seen that, and then sometimes they pop back up. That Bubba's talking about blowing up that whole homepage, by the way.
Good because it's bad. I don't.
It is
I'm
sucks.
not a fan.
No, neither is he.
Hmm.
You know what? Now, what we need to do, what someone needs to do, this is piggybacking on what you're talking about in terms of various words being used through the years. They need to do like a top 10 list for various words used. As an example, I, me, and mine. Yeah, I, me, and my. I wonder who would head that list.
You mean besides Barack Obama?
Well, I should have, yeah, I should have said, I wonder who would come in second place on that list because,
Yeah, who would, that is the way to ask the question.
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I mean, just so overall, we talked about this yesterday, but it could have cut and pasted from last year and the year before and the year before that and whatever because it was the same old, same old. It was, climate change and it was pitting class against class. Um, did you see the part or read about his and this is getting well, a lot of what he said is getting harshly criticized, not just by Republican analysts or Republicans, by the way. Andrea Mitchell, MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell went off on him last night, but his declarative statement, "I'm stopping ISIL's advance." Did you see that?
I did see that. It's like, really?
It's just unbelievable. In Iraq and Syria, American leadership, including our military power, is stopping ISIL's advance. Instead of getting dragged to another ground war in the Middle East, we are leading a broad coalition, including Arab nations, to degrade and ultimately destroy the terrorist group. So maybe by stopping, he means allowing ISIS to double the amount of territory it has in Syria and driving ISIS out of nowhere in Iraq, in major cities. I mean, maybe that's what he means by stopping.
Well, that's the thing where when I'm suggesting that we need a little dictionary, when he said this, what he meant was that.
Well, that's a format that you and I talked about yesterday that I used to write quite a bit when I was not writing where I write now. The sentence and then the translation right underneath, and then the next phrase and the translation right underneath. It's he can't. Well, it's always a couple of options. Does he really believe that, or is he just floating it out there, not giving a damn, hoping that some folks buy it? I mean. Or else, what is he smoking? I mean, does he have the Choom gang back together? I mean, that was astonishing to me. It bordered being hilarious.
Well, it's the kind of thing that the left will take those talking points and run with it. And what it's designed to do is to put the burden of proof on the other side.
Sure, but you had, like I said, you had Andrea Mitchell. You had I forget who the guest was on Tingle's show. Just hammering that statement. That is just so blatantly false. Just, right. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that was fun. I got a kick out of that. What else is the climate change thing? You saw that, right?
Oh yes.
No challenge poses a greater threat to future generations than climate change. That is a verbatim quote, by the way. So apparently ISIS, Islamic terrorism in general, comes in at least second to global warming, man.
Yeah, it's the threatened impact of something in 2150 is going to be solved by the government that's going to be broke in 2030.
Yeah. And I mean, who better than Barack Obama to comment not only on the status of ISIS right now, but global warming as well. Because John Heinz Kerry, both a world-renowned climate expert, he said, I mean, this is part of where this comes from, as head of the State Department, that the greatest challenge facing America. He may have even said that first. And of course, Imam John Heinz Kerry, a complete expert on the peaceful religion. So between those two guys, arguably the smartest two guys on the planet, of course he would make these statements because they have to be true if those guys believe them, right?
Right. Well, the president he did jump in and address the science aspect of it. What was his comment that, hey, I'm not a scientist, but most scientists do agree.
Sure. And that was in conjunction with his quote, 2014 was the planet's warmest year on record. Now, one year doesn't make a trend, but this does. 14 of the 15 warmest years on record have fallen in the first 15 years of this century. So he goes into the thing about scientists. There are scientists, if you will, who are, this is being widely discredited as we speak, by the way, that this 2014 being the warmest year on history and the whole bit. So, they love to talk. He's talking about scientists from NASA and NOAA and whatever have you. But see, again, this is very selective. He doesn't mention the NASA scientist who said, geez, I don't remember the exact percentages now, but something to the effect of 95% of all climate models in use since 1979 have proved to be wrong. He doesn't talk about NOAA's finding about the California droughts being not climate change oriented, not man-made climate change oriented for sure, but weather patterns and cycles and so forth. So these people, Al Gore, Barack Obama, and the crew, very selective in the scientists that they quote.
Very. Speaking of Al Gore and science
I saw
and the
that.
climate, by the way, it's funny, I really like going to concerts, and it's helpful to just have kind of a calendar of things that are coming down the road. And so this one, I've got to figure out how much of my life to set aside for it. But there are going to be concerts on all 7 continents on June 18,
Now,
right?
see,
They're going to
before you
be,
continue, I just have to tell you, when you sent me this, dude, I have already booked my hotel room for this, and
well,
yeah.
of the 7 continents, the question is, where are they going to be?
Well,
China, you're going to be in China, Sydney, Cape Town, Rio, New York City, and Paris. Wait, that's only 6.
yeah. Well,
China,
maybe there are
Sydney, Cape
more
Town,
to.
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh,
Wait, they said,
a band made up of scientists will play at a research station in Antarctica.
oh, okay. Oh, well, that's the one that I want to go to.
See, me too. That'll be some damn good music too.
Yeah, so here's the deal, folks, is that Al Gore said this today. It was he's in Davos, Switzerland. Probably got there via bicycle or wind powered boat
Probably both.
or solar powered air balloon
Hmm.
uh, with a sisal and hemp balloon. I'm thinking. Anyway, here's what he said. The goal together is to bring 1 billion voices from around the globe demanding climate action. Um, and Pharrell Williams said we are literally going to have humanity harmonize all at once.
See, and dude, I love Pharrell. By the way, I mean he's I like his music. I watch The Voice. Yeah, I know, but he's a good dude. I mean, he cares about people and helping them with their careers and everything. But this doesn't shock me. But I don't know. I still like Pharrell. But I'm definitely gonna. I don't know, dude. It's either gonna be for me. I think it's got to be either China or Antarctica. I got to pick between those two, but I got a little time.
Um, where would I want to do it the most? Phrasing. Um, well, Danny's family's from South Africa, so it'd be fun to go to Cape Town
Go to Cape Town. We could all go to Rio and just make a real party out of it.
and make a real party out of it. I've never been to Australia. Now, hilarious to do it in China because the one thing the Chinese don't do is give a crap
Yeah, see,
about this
well,
stuff,
that's why I
man.
said China, because dude, we could wear our gas masks downtown Beijing, and we could participate the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I think we're on to something. So, all right, listen, we're under two, but so yeah, State of the Union. Maybe we'll let it go. I do somehow still want to get into the weeds about part of the tax stuff. We'll save that to see if we had time. So, good show coming up. We got Jen Van Laar. She's going to be fun. I told her to relax, get liquored up a little bit, so she can just kind of roll. Um,
Wait, and at 11:30, she's well. I want to be
yeah, I
careful
know.
about that, but
Okay, so
right.
we're under a minute, dude. You got to take us out here.
All right, folks. You have been listening to the Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. We would love if you're listening and you have ever considered calling in. We'd love to get your perspective on what the president had to say. Perhaps to figure out which of the 7 locations, one of the 7 locations you would want to hear the Al Gore Pharrell Williams concert. Call in at 412-567-6879. Also Twitter at The Right Mics. We'll be right back after the news. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it.
I never was political. Hi, this